vs Tottenham. Carabao Cup result, latest updates and commentary today. Kick-off. A great atmosphere as we get underway at the cottage. The away end in fine voice. Standard Sports' Dan Kilpatrick at Craven Cottage. Making 9 changes for a cup game under the previous Tottenham regime would have inevitably been grim, but it will be interesting to see if Postecoglou has got buy-in from fringe players and built a style which transcends the first 11. The cups are important for the manager, but so is keeping his whole squad happy. 3 minutes, no action at all really to speak of in the opening exchanges. It's all a bit scrappy in the teeming rain and the ball is being bogged down in midfield, with neither side able to build up much possession. The more than 4,000 Spurs fans in the away end are making a hell of a racket, though. 5 minutes, Spurs had been seeing much of the ball, but a couple of nervy moments follow, including for Skip as he gets the ball back to Forster under pressure. Still not sure of the color of this Tottenham third kit. 7 minutes, the first chance of the game falls to Fulham, as Spurs give the ball away cheaply inside their own half and Robinson skips down that left flank. He ends up teeing up a back post cross for Muniz, who narrowly heads wide. A let-off for Tottenham? That. They could easily be 1-0 down here. 8 minutes, more early pressure from the hosts as the speedy Traore finds acres of space down the right on his first Fulham start. His first cross is blocked at close range and the second is hastily scrambled clear. A couple of worrying signs down both sides for Tottenham defensively in the early going here. 11 minutes, it's still mostly all Fulham at Craven Cottage, with the offside flag stopping an opportunity from a free kick before de Cordovaride misses the target with an ambitious effort from distance. De Cordovaride then closes down Forster very quickly in a heart-and-mouth moment for the backup Spurs keeper. Too slow and casual, but he gets away with a goal kick. 13 minutes, Traore looks to get away down the Fulham right again, but he overruns it and is seen off well by Van de Ven, who gets serenaded by the away fans behind that goal for his efforts. Traore took a bit of a tumble into the barrier there, but he's okay. 15 minutes, unsurprisingly, Tottenham are clearly lacking any fluency or rhythm here after so many changes. Meanwhile, Luis Boamor looks to be the lead coach in that Fulham dugout with manager Marco Silva serving his touchline ban. Standard Sports' Dan Kilpatrick at Craven Cottage. You can tell Spurs have made 9 changes so far. They are struggling to get out of their half and string passing moves together. Richarlison, who needs a goal tonight really, has barely had a touch. 18 minutes. Fulham are able to sustain another decent bout of pressure after a free kick, with Tottenham forced to defend doggedly to stop the likes of Kearney and Reed on the edge of the box. Palhinha floats a pass out to Traore, who keeps it in play and cuts inside before delivering a cross that is repelled by Sanchez at the back post. Goal. Fulham 1-0 Tottenham. Mickey van de Ven OG 19 minutes. The hosts deservedly lead. Kearney links up nicely with de Cordovaride and then beats the struggling Sanchez. All ends up. He ends up pulling the ball back across, where it's accidentally deflected into his own net by Van de Ven, who has his second Spurs own goal in just 4 matches. Perisic tried his best to hack it off the line, but he couldn't get there. Tottenham pay the price for their sluggish start. 23 minutes, another chance for Fulham as Robinson flies down the left and tees up Reed with an accurate cross, but the header is well off target. Ange Postecoglou will be very unhappy with what he's seeing here, despite all those changes. By the way, that has definitely gone down as a Van de Ven own goal. The stadium announcer had wrongly credited it to Reed. Standard Sports' Dan Kilpatrick at Craven Cottage. Davinson Sanchez has somewhat played his way back into contention since the start of the season, but he is having a shocker out there. The Colombian centre-back is uncomfortable with and without possession and was turned inside out by Kearney ahead of Van de Ven's own goal. 27 minutes, Tottenham just cannot find a way into this game at the moment. They get a corner after Tet's defensive header, but it's quickly wasted to ironic cheers. Fulham fans reveling in seeing former winger Solomon struggling here. The influential Palhinha now down after a challenge from Skip, but he's fine to carry on. 30 minutes, Diop hobbling a bit there for Fulham after a challenge, but he's quickly shaken it off. Half an hour gone and still no threat from much changed Spurs whatsoever. They are seeing much more of the ball now, but can't break down Fulham. 31 minutes. Forster beats away a determined low effort from Muniz with his left foot at the front post after a swift Fulham counter led by Traoré. Palhinha then hauls down Richarlison as he tries to inspire a Spurs break, with Davies furious that referee Josh Smith denied the chance for a quick free kick. Tottenham's stand-in captain is given a stern talking to. Standard Sports' Dan Kilpatrick at Craven Cottage. Spurs fans are venting their frustration at chairman Daniel Levy, with chants towards the cottage of "Get out of our club." It's still not happening for the visitors on the pitch and, at this rate, I suspect Yves Bissouma and James Maddison will be needed in the second half to get Spurs on the ball and beyond Fulham's press. 35 minutes. Perisic has been so wasteful for Tottenham so far. A really poor first half from the Croatian, though the same can be said for each of those Spurs players. Just not at the races at the moment. Postecoglou is trying to G up his charges down on the touchline, but it's not having the desired impact so far. 38 minutes. Better from Spurs as De Cordovareed is successfully harried out of possession inside his own half and Lo Celso and Skip quickly combine to find Richarlison, whose low shot is blocked behind by Ream. A poor flat corner is easily cleared though and Hodjberg's overhit cross is then comfortably gathered by Rodak. 42 minutes. Emerson Royal also fluffs his lines for Spurs before Sanchez overhits a promising long ball intended for the run of Solomon. Palhinha now gives the ball away for Fulham and then brings down Richarlison in a dangerous position while trying to atone for his error. Perisic steps up into the wall. Richarlison tries to keep the rebound in, but it's a corner after he tussles with Robinson. 43 minutes. Ream thumps clear to ease the mounting pressure inside that Fulham box before halftime. Spurs picking up a little bit as the interval looms. 45 minutes. Some more fine defending from Ream snuffs out the latest brief period of Spurs pressure. Tottenham are then indebted to Forster for keeping it at 1-0 as Reed releases Traoré and the Spaniard supplies a cross that is headed goal-bound by Muniz. That's a fine low stop from the former England keeper. Into 2 minutes of added time. Halftime. Much changed Spurs deservedly trail at halftime thanks to Van de Ven's own goal forced by great work from Kearney and are indebted to Forster for a fine save from Muniz on the stroke of halftime. It could and should be worse for the totally flat visitors, who have been really poor so far. It's a very strong bench though, and you've got to think that Postecoglou will already be thinking about some changes. Fulham bright despite their own alterations and the absence of Marco Silva and well worth their lead as things stand. Standard Sports' Dan Kilpatrick at Craven Cottage. Fulham deservedly lead here and, as it stands, Spurs are heading out of the League Cup before the top 7 have played. I think Bissouma, Maddison and possibly Romero have to come on if they want to get back into this game. There is a halftime change coming from Spurs, but not the one you might have expected. It's 19-year-old forward Dane Scarlett coming on for Lo Celso. Interesting from Postecoglou. The big names stay on the bench for now. Back underway at Craven Cottage. No changes from Fulham, who will want more of the same in this second half. 48 minutes. Early second half danger for Spurs as Traoré leaves several players in the dust before being stopped by a well-timed challenge from Van de Ven. Kearney's delivery comes out to Reed, whose fierce drive is blocked before Tottenham hammer clear. 51 minutes. The travelling Spurs fans are becoming more and more agitated here as Skip becomes the latest to make an error. There is still no fluency to Postecoglou's much changed side whatsoever. 53 minutes. A chance of sorts for Spurs as Richarlison's effort takes a big looping deflection up off Ream and has to be helped over the crossbar by Rodak, who emphatically punches clear the resulting corner. Spurs are then frustrated as a potential counter is ended by an injury to Muniz. Standard Sports' Dan Kilpatrick at Craven Cottage. Scarlett for Lo Celso was not the halftime change I was expecting, it's fair to say. The teenager has certainly bulked up since his last game for Spurs at Middlesbrough in March 2022, but he remains extremely inexperienced at this level. 55 minutes. That is Tottenham's best chance of the night so far as Højbjerg fires narrowly wide. Now Fulham are partially down to 10 men as Tet demands a new boot from the touchline but ends up having to race down the tunnel. Can Spurs make their temporary numerical advantage count? Goal. Fulham 1-1 Tottenham Richarlison, 56 minutes. Yes, they can, and Richarlison has a crucial goal at last. With Tet back in the dressing room. Spurs attack down his side and Richarlison heads in a parasite cross at the back post, with Ream unable to hack it off the line. A much-needed goal for the Brazilian. Game on. Standard Sports' Dan Kilpatrick at Craven Cottage. Is that the moment to kickstart Richarlison's season and Spurs' career? It was a great ball from Perisic to the far post and a smart finish from the Brazilian. Spurs are back in this game without turning to their big hitters. Fair play. 60 minutes, Fulham react to that equalizer with a substitution on the hour mark. Harry Wilson replaces Traoré. 63 minutes, one foul too many from the combative Skip, who brings down Palhinha roughly and deservedly has his name taken by the referee. Just before that, Tet had fired an ambitious long-range drive high into the stands. 65 minutes, it should be 2-1 to Fulham. Spurs are caught in possession over on their left-hand side and Wilson strides forward, sliding into Cordovareed for a great chance that he miscues wide while off balance. A golden opportunity passed up. 67 minutes, Fulham are piling on the pressure once more now with Muniz and Tet the danger men. Spurs are preparing another couple of changes, including Heung-min Son. 69 minutes, good save from Forster to keep out de Cordovareed's header. Perisic's penalty appeals are then waved away after a fierce tussle with Tet. Son, Papesar and Dejan Kulusevski are all coming on now in a triple Spurs change from Postecoglou. Off go Perisic, Skip and goalscorer Richarlison. 72 minutes, superb play from Wilson inside the Spurs box and Sanchez makes a crucial last-ditch block. Referee Josh Smith has just brandished a yellow card to someone in that Spurs dugout. I think it was Chris Davies, one of Postecoglou's assistants. 74 minutes, it was indeed assistant Chris Davies who was booked for Spurs a few moments ago. Now Van de Ven is in the book too for a mistimed challenge that sends Wilson flying. The former Liverpool winger has given Fulham a real spark. Andreas Pereira has been waiting for ages to come on for the hosts, sitting down and getting back up a couple of times. 77 minutes, finally Pereira is on, with de Cordovareed making way. Inside the last 15 minutes at Craven Cottage, a reminder that this game will go straight to penalties if it's still level at the end of the 90. No extra time. 78 minutes, teenage midfielder Luke Harris also comes on for Fulham. He replaces Reed. 80 minutes, a flying save from Rodak denies Solomon a goal against his former club after a fine pass from Son. The rebound falls for Scarlett, but there's too much pace on the ball and he can't find the finish. 82 minutes, Postecoglou turns to James Maddison, who comes on for Solomon. Fulham send on Raul Jimenez and Tyrese Francois for Muniz and Kearney. Penalties are looming at the cottage. 86 minutes, lovely dancing feet from the fleet-footed Maddison inside the box after an errant Fulham clearance from the byline. He tries to pick out Kulusevski, but it's not accurate enough and Emerson Royal ends up thundering a poor shot high and wide. Standard Sports' Dan Kilpatrick at Craven Cottage. Maddison has immediately made a difference with a weaving run to the byline, but his introduction feels a little late. We're heading for penalties here unless one of these sides can produce something special in the final few minutes. 89 minutes, Ream gives the ball away cheaply for Fulham and Son helps to release Scarlett. But Rodak is off his line in a flash to snuff out the danger. Solid goalkeeping. At the other end, Forster closes down the angle well and denies Wilson with his feet. Both sides pushing for a last-gasp winner to avoid the dreaded lottery of penalties. 91 minutes, 7 minutes of added time at Craven Cottage. Scarlett battles hard inside the box and earns a Spurs corner, with Maddison's delivery from the right flicked away. The ball falls kindly for Hodgebjerg, who drills high and wide from the edge of the box. 94 minutes, a huge chance for Fulham to claim a last-gasp win in stoppage time, but Jimenez heads Tet's cross over the crossbar. Marco Silva with his head in his hands up in the stands. 96 minutes, Tottenham have a late free kick right on the edge of the box, but it's into the wall from Maddison. Van de Ven and Jimenez then tussle as the Mexican tries to muscle through on goal. 98 minutes, a late bout of Spurs pressure comes to nothing as Maddison's left-wing corner is flicked on dangerously by Davies at the front post. Another cross is repelled by Wilson and the final whistle sounds. Fulham 1-1 Tottenham. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.